All right, today's lesson is going to be on the distributive property and looking at how it works in combination with simplifying expressions. You can find this page in your Chapter 1 packet. So if you could take a look in Google Classroom, there should be a digital version attached, or you may have the actual version in your binder. And your actual version is thankfully a lot clearer than my version here that I have. But you've worked with the distributive property a little bit in the past, and remember that the distributive property tells you that when you have a number next to a parenthesis, that means to multiply. So one thing that you can do is you can take each term inside the parentheses and multiply it by the number outside the parentheses. So in this one you would distribute the 8, and it would be 8m plus 16. Now we can't combine the 8m and the 16 because they're not like terms. So there we've just restated the expression using the distributive property. If a number is in front of the variable like we see in the 2x, it still works the same way, only you'll take that number outside the parentheses and multiply it by the number next to the variable or the coefficient. So this would be 8x plus 24. If you are multiplying or distributing a number and a variable, do the numbers like we did in the ones above. So you do 2 times 3, and 2 times 3 is 6, and then you just add the variables. And often the variables are added in alphabetical order, so it would be 6ab. Then you take the 2 and you multiply it by the 7, which is positive, so that'd be a positive 14, and the 2 remaining variables are b, c. So 6ab plus 14bc. Now those all had 2 numbers, but it applies the same even if you have 3 numbers, only you're going to distribute the number 3 times. So 3 times 5 is 15x, plus 3 times 4, which is 12y, plus 3 times the z, which is 3z. That is your distributive property using with algebraic expressions. Now we're going to flip it over or go to the following page, and we're going to actually skip down to number 9, or skip to number 9, where we're going to distribute and then simplify. So I have a 2 times an m, which is 2m, and the 2 times the 20, which is 40. But I am not going to distribute to the 7m because that is outside the parentheses. So instead I'm just going to bring the 7m down. But now I'll combine like terms. The like terms would be the 2m and the 7m, which is 9m, and then we bring along the plus 40. Okay. Then we go to number 10. Number 10 has us distributing 2 numbers. First the 2 to the x and the y, and then the positive 4 to the 2 and the 3. So it'd be plus 8x plus 12y. Now I'm going to combine together like terms. A 10x and an 8x are 10x, and 2y plus 12y is 14y. So 10x plus 14y. When you have multiple brackets that require you to distribute, you're going to treat them like order of operations. So you're going to start with the innermost parentheses. So I'm going to leave the 5, the bracket, and I'm actually going to start by distributing the 2 because multiplication comes before addition. So I'm going to leave the 7 and now distribute this positive 2. And I would get 2a, and then 2 times a negative 3 would be a negative 6. Now I have 2 options here. I can simplify inside the expression or inside the bracket, or I can distribute. If I just want to get rid of the parentheses, then I will distribute. 5 times 7 is 35, 5 times 2 is 10a, and 5 times a negative 6 is negative 30. My like terms are the 35 and the negative 30, so that would combine to 5 plus 10a. Now, just to show you, I'm going to do it the other way here, in which I'm going to simplify inside first. So if I put the 7 and the negative 6 together, I'm going to have 1 plus 2a. And when I distribute the 5, I get 5 plus 10a. So you can see your answer works the same either way, whether you distribute right away or simplify right away. Right. One last thing we're going to look at for today is looking at what do we do when we have negative numbers. When you have negative numbers, or whatever the sign is in front of it, you're going to distribute that negative to both. So a negative 3 times a positive 7 would be negative 21. And a negative 3 times a negative x would be a positive 3x. So it'd be negative 21 plus 3x. And in this case, we don't have to simplify. Those are the notes for today. We're going to look at these other special circumstances another day, but for now, we're going to have you do some practice on the following page to just learn and review the distributive properties. If you can go to Algebra C and complete that, we'll see how that goes. Let me know if you have questions. Have a great day.